Again, are we all back?
I believe we are all back now.
Okay. So we will continue with our regular meeting. I hope you all are all back. It seems like there's a lot of us here. Um, we just finished our executive session, getting advice from our conflict attorney regarding legal issues for our summary motion that we will take on tomorrow. So um, I would like to welcome back our attorney generals, our assistant attorney generals, Robin Willie and Corey Haller are back, and we should also have our interpreters for our next session. And so, Tanya, are you here?
Hi, this is Tanya. Yes, I am here and I need 1 minute just to arrange with my colleague how we're going to proceed, if that works with you. And then I'm happy to
Sure.
read the language justice statement.
Well, let me
One
make
minute.
sure. Go ahead. I'm just going
Oh,
to make sure that we have our Spanish recording started, and then I'm going to um, pass the gavel, if that's all right, to Commissioner Rudolph, who's going to take charge of public comment.
John,
Yes.
just a procedural question. Are we reporting out of our executive session tomorrow morning before deliberations, or are we doing that now? Because
We
usually
just did
after
it.
we, okay, usually we have the attorney say something that we went into executive session for legal advice.
Yeah,
Maybe we changed that procedure. Okay.
we did change that procedure. This is under the easy rules.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
So,
On that note, I
yeah.
do think that the one item on which I was here is done, so I'll excuse myself with thanks to the commission at this time. Thank you.
Okay, I see that John has muted himself, so I presume that's the official passing of the gavel. So welcome everyone. I am Commissioner Martha Rudolph. This is the public comment session, and it will be interpreted in Spanish, and we will start with a language justice statement and instructions from our interpreter, Tanya Johnson. Tanya?
hi, good evening. My name is Tanya, and I'm the Spanish interpreter for the Office of Environmental Justice at CDPHE. Today, I'm working with my colleague Zuli from CLC. I'm going to read the Zoom instructions and the language justice statement first in Spanish, and then I will repeat it in English. Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Tania y soy la intérprete de la Oficina de Justicia Ambiental del Departamento de Salud Pública y Medio Ambiente de Colorado. Hoy estoy trabajando con mi colega Zuli. Antes de comenzar, quiero asegurarme de que todas y todos hayan seleccionado el idioma adecuado en Zoom. Si prefieren escuchar la presentación en español, hagan clic en el globito que aparece en la parte inferior de la pantalla de la computadora y seleccionen español bajo interpretación. Si están usando un teléfono celular o una tableta, hagan clic en los 3 puntos que están a la derecha donde dice More o Más y eligen el español como su idioma de preferencia. Las y los integrantes de la comunidad están invitados a hacer sus comentarios en español si así lo prefieren. Nuestra organización ha asumido el compromiso de fomentar la justicia lingüística. Invitamos a la comunidad a usar su idioma de preferencia para participar en la reunión. Les agradecemos que hablen lenta y pasadamente y que usen palabras comunes para que sea más fácil de interpretar. And here we go in English. Before we get started, I would like to direct everyone to the appropriate language channel on Zoom. Please click on the small globe at the bottom of your screen and select your preferred language. If you are on a tablet or phone, click the 3 dots to the right of your screen that says More and select your language there. During the meeting, there will be community members who choose to give their comments in Spanish. If you are not bilingual, you will need to click the English option to hear any interpretation. Clicking English will not affect how you hear the meeting any other way. As an organization, we are committed to language justice. We would like to invite community members to participate in the meeting using their language of preference. In order to facilitate interpretation, please speak at a conversational pace, pause often, and use commonly understood vocabulary. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate your starting us off. I am looking for the little globe that you talked about. I want to make sure that everyone has seen it and is able to click on their language preference. Oh, language, there it is. It's not really a globe, it's just a little blurby thing, I guess. Well, I'm not sure that worked.
Seems to be working for me, Commissioner Rudolph.
Is it working for you? Okay, if folks have a problem with that, if you'd raise your hand or provide a comment in the chat. We want to make sure that we let everyone hear and understand what is being said tonight. So thank you. We will now begin the rulemaking for regulation number 31. At this time, I'd like to invite the public to provide oral comments on any air pollution topic of their choosing, whether it is on the agenda or not. Jeremy, you've got a...
I just wanted to suggest maybe taking a short break until 6 p.m. because we did advertise this to start at 6, and I don't want people to show up and ask why they weren't allowed to give their public comment.
That's a very good point. I will repeat all this in 12 minutes. Mr. Knight, you've got your hand up.
Yes, I just want to make sure I can speak for public comments. I was not able to register for public comment when I registered for the meeting.
We did cut off the public comment sign up because we had a full public comment session. I think if people don't show up and we still have time remaining in the meeting, then you would be able to give the public comment at Commissioner Rudolph's discretion there.
Okay, so just stand by and wait.
Yes, sir.
Stand by. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, then we will take a short break until 6 o'clock and we will resume then. Thank you.
Pero una vez que empiecen los
Here, if you could turn on your video so I know you are here. So we can start again. So I ask that everyone keeps their video off, except for commissioners, until until it's your turn to speak. Thank you. One, two, three, four, five. We're missing.
And Commissioner Reader is here. His camera
Is
froze.
not. Yeah, I can see that. He's got a funny picture instead of his face. All right, we'll get started again. We're going to start from the top, since other people may have. My name is Martha Rudolph, and I will handle this public comment session, which will be interpreted in Spanish, and we will start with a language justice statement again, and instructions from CDPHE's interpreter, Tanya Johnson. Tanya, would you mind giving your instruction again for us, please? Tanya, if you're speaking, you're muted. Turn off. We need to turn off the interpretation.
All right. Are you ready? I
There
can
we
do
go.
it.
Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry. I apologize for that. You can't hear me. You can't hear the interpretation on the floor or the interpreter on the floor if interpretation is on. So here we go again.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Tanya, and I'm the staff interpreter for the Office of Environmental Justice at CDPHE. Today, I'm working with my colleague, Suli from CLC. I'm going to read the Zoom instructions and the language justice statement first in Spanish and then repeat it in English. Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Tania y soy la intérprete de la Oficina de Justicia Ambiental del Departamento de Salud Pública y Medio Ambiente de Colorado. Hoy estoy trabajando con mi colega Suli. Antes de comenzar, quiero asegurarme de que todas y todos hayan seleccionado el idioma adecuado en Zoom. Si prefieren escuchar la presentación en español, hagan clic en el globito que va a aparecer en la parte inferior de la pantalla de la computadora y seleccionen español bajo interpretación. Si están usando un teléfono celular o una tableta, hagan clic en los 3 puntos que están a la derecha donde dice More o Más y eligen el español como su idioma de preferencia. Las y los integrantes de la comunidad están invitados a hacer sus comentarios en español si así lo prefieren. Nuestra organización ha asumido el compromiso de fomentar la justicia lingüística. Invitamos a la comunidad a usar su idioma de preferencia para participar en la reunión. Les agradecemos que hablen lenta y pausadamente y que usen palabras comunes para que sea más fácil de interpretar. And English. Before we get started, I would like to direct everyone to the appropriate language channel on Zoom. Please click on the small globe at the bottom of your screen and select your preferred language. If you are on a tablet or phone, click the 3 dots to the right of your screen that says More and select your language there. There will be community members who choose to give their comments in Spanish this evening. If you are not bilingual, you will need to click the English option to hear any interpretation. This will not affect how you hear the meeting otherwise. As an organization, we are committed to language justice. We would like to invite community members to participate in the meeting using their language of preference. In order to facilitate interpretation, please speak at a conversational pace, pause often, and use commonly understood vocabulary. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Hold on. So I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to understand what is being said tonight. As I indicated earlier, I am not personally seeing the globe. When I click on more, I am on my computer. I do not see a globe there either. So, and there is a notation about interpretation being enabled, which I think happened before Tanya spoke. So if you are unable, like me, to find where you can click on the interpretation icon, if you would either raise your hand or say something, put something in the chat box, and we'll see if we can figure out what's going on. I don't know what's going on for me, but hopefully we'll figure this out. So we will now begin the rulemaking. Okay, we will now begin the rulemaking for regulation number 31. At this time, I'd like to invite the public to provide oral comments on any air pollution topic of their choosing, whether it is on the agenda or not. We will also take comments on regulation number 31. The Commission will not take action on other issues discussed during this general public comment period. Such matters may be scheduled for further discussion or action at a later date. We appreciate it when you sign up in advance of our meetings. You can do this on our website when you register to attend and get your link to the meeting. This gives us an idea of how many commenters are expected and to plan accordingly. I will call on names in the order shown on the screen. You may then unmute to speak or press *6 if you are on the phone. If you have any technical difficulties, please send a chat to Jeremy or raise your hand by using the raise hand function or by pushing *9 if you're on the phone. I ask that everyone please stay on time. Each person will receive 2 minutes to speak in order to accommodate everyone who signed up to speak. Before we get started, I also want to point out that the Commission received quite a lot of written comments for this rulemaking, for the rulemaking proceeding for Regulation 31. I saw more written comments for this rulemaking that I think I've seen in any other rulemaking to date. So I want to express my appreciation for all of those who submitted those comments as well. So let us start first with Ashley Stoltzman. Ashley, are you here? We will circle back. If I call your name and you are not here when I call your name, we will circle back at the end of the public comment to see if we can catch you. Next is P.T. Wood.
Hello. Thank you for hearing our comments. You did receive some written comments from Chaffee County as well, and so I'll be brief. I just wanted to reiterate our concerns about the costs of the methane capture requirements in Rule 31. We're a small county-owned landfill that is right at the limit of having to do that. It would cost our county between $2 and $2.5 million. And as our landfill is an enterprise fund, we would have to raise rates through the roof to pay for that. The result of that is that people are going to dump on our public lands. We're about 83% public lands. It would be a mess, and it would also cripple our work that we're doing towards recycling, waste diversion, and composting. We are committed to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. We're an active member of Mountain 2030. We are working with CC4CA. We're committed to greenhouse gas reduction. These rules are going to cripple that work for us, and we just really need a hand from you guys to maybe put it off, rethink it, and come up with a better solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jean Glover. I'll circle back for him. Next is Jordan Glauconia. Okay. Catherine Blauvelt.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thanks all. My name is Catherine Blaufeld. I'm Executive Director of Full Circle Future. We are formerly the Circular Economy Campaign of Industrious Labs, and we work in Colorado and across the country with people who live near landfills and who experience the negative impacts of landfills 365 days a year, because if methane is escaping a landfill, you better believe toxic pollutants are too. So I'm here today to urge you to pass a strong and comprehensive landfill methane rule. The stakes are real. Every month of delay locks in more damage to our climate, our communities, and our health. Over 35,000 students go to school every day near a municipal solid waste landfill in Colorado. That's more than enough people to fill every seat in Coors Stadium. We have contacted residents living near landfills and honestly heard an overwhelming response. Over 150 people took the time to comment. We submitted what they wrote in the public record. One Coloradan said, living close to a landfill who is asking permission to expand, we support the increased regulations strongly. With a person in our household who suffers from asthma, this is critically important. Another said, our home stinks when the wind is from the south. We are all coughing. Fix the Aspen Pitkin landfill. These are not abstract problems. They're immediate health threats for families. Another resident was blunt. We owe it to all Coloradans to make landfills less harmful than they are now. And this is an issue of fairness. A community member reminded us in their comment, the landfill's proximity to so many homes feels like a disaster waiting to happen. So let's be clear, there are upfront expenses to installing better gas collection systems and actually finding methane, but that hasn't been a barrier in other states that have already put forward stronger regs. In fact, the very same companies fighting this rule in Colorado are already complying elsewhere. WM operates at least 25 landfills under strong methane rules. Republic Services operates 24, Waste Connections and GFL each operate 5. Even smaller companies like Granger Associates comply at multiple sites. And we have over 160 public landfills, publicly owned landfills that are already meeting higher standards. In Michigan, in Maryland, in Oregon. In Michigan, it's been the law of the land that landfills that have new units.
Can you wrap it up, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, please don't delay, don't weaken these standards. Coloradans are counting on you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Ricky Cook.
Hi, my name is Ricky, and I represent a technology developer based here on the Western Slope. We have been working with our local landfill to develop technology aimed at reducing emissions and improving operational efficiency for those operators. Unfortunately, our small municipal landfill, like many other rural communities, cannot afford to implement advanced technologies. While grant programs exist, the high minimum request amount and significant cash match requirements has effectively barred small businesses and rural communities like ours from being eligible. My request is that the Commission considers creating additional funding opportunities that would enable municipal landfills to adopt advanced technologies to help them better manage their emissions. Thank you.
Thank you. Guadalupe Solis.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to share public comment today. My name is Guadalupe, and I work with communities in Adams County who live near the Tower Road landfill and have faced the impacts of the landfill's unregulated pollution. For too long, the status quo has allowed landfills to avoid accountability while frontline families pay the price with their health and environment. I've seen through my role at Cultivando firsthand how families are being impacted. This includes parents worried about not being able to move their families away from pollution sources, neighbors reporting constant odors from the landfill alongside a slew of other polluters, and a looming concern about what's in the air, water, and soil surrounding their homes. The proposed landfill is a smart and science-based step forward. By requiring additions such as earlier gas capture, stronger covers, and phasing out open flares, we can dramatically reduce harmful emissions. And so therefore, I urge the Commission to strengthen the rule by further requiring fence line monitoring so communities can have the information they need to protect their families and actively engage in decisions such as these. So before closing, I also want to respectfully ask the Commission to be mindful of language justice. Many impacted residents are non-English speakers who participate in these hearings through simultaneous interpretation. And this process can take extra time. And so I ask that you allow for that both today and in future hearings for all community members to be able to have an equal chance to be heard. I understand the time limit is 2 minutes, but with other languages interpreting simultaneously, it may take a bit longer. And so I hope you can make those accommodations today and in future meetings as well. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Rocio Franco?
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Rocío Franco. He trabajado en Commerce City por más de 8 años y tengo familia que vive aquí. Estoy aquí para hablarles sobre el impacto de los vertederos en Commerce City. Commerce City alberga el vertedero más grande de Colorado y sus residentes viven cada día con las consecuencias de la contaminación del aire, la contaminación del agua, los malos olores, el tráfico de camiones, mayores tasas de asma y riesgos de salud a largo plazo. Esto no es un solo problema, no es solamente un problema ambiental, es una crisis de salud pública. La verdad es que nuestra comunidad nunca tuvo una verdadera opción en este asunto. No se nos dio las oportunidades reales para decidir si este vertedero debía de estar aquí. Con demasiada frecuencia, las comunidades de color son excluidas de los procesos de tomas de decisiones, mientras otros deciden sobre nuestra salud, la de nuestros hijos y de nuestro futuro. Estamos obligados a vivir con el vertedero, pero nunca se nos preguntó si lo queríamos. La mayoría de los residentes de Commerce City no tienen acceso a programas que podrían reducir la carga de desechos, como servicios básicos de reciclaje y compostaje, que sí existen en otras partes del estado. ¿Por qué nuestra ciudad debería cargar con la basura de todos los demás y al mismo tiempo carecer de las soluciones que podrían mejorar nuestro entorno? ¿Por qué debemos seguir soportando el daño sin recibir los recursos necesarios? Es una injusticia que le ha robado a las familias de Commerce City la oportunidad de vivir en un ambiente seguro y saludable. Es un sistema que nos obliga a soportar daños sin tener elección, sin voz y sin inversiones a nuestro bienestar. Si hablamos en serio de equidad, necesitamos garantizar el reciclaje y el compostaje como un derecho para cada residente, no como un privilegio reservado para comunidades con mayores recursos. Necesitamos recursos e inversiones que devuelvan dignidad y salud a nuestra comunidad. Debemos de dejar de tratar a Commerce City como un basurero y comenzar a reconocerlo como una comunidad digna de vida, oportunidades y elecciones. Les insisto que tomen medidas de seguridad para regular el metano y traigan recursos a nuestros vecindarios y permitan finalmente que los residentes de Commerce City prosperen en lugar de simplemente vivir bajo el peso de este vertedero. Gracias.
Thank you. Next, Reina Soria.
Excuse me, I believe Laura Martinez is next.
Okay, Laura Martinez, sorry. Sorry, Green.
Thank you. Good afternoon, esteemed commissioners. My name is Laura Martinez, and I have been a Commerce City resident for over 25 years. I have always known that we have so close to us for as long as I can remember. However, I never thought much of it until recently, when I learned of the harm it does to our health. It has been known to cause many health issues in vulnerable communities. During the last few weeks, I learned about composting and the effects that food waste has on methane emissions in landfills. I learned how composting can not only reduce organic waste, which in turn reduces methane, but also how the soil is in the process. This means a lot to our community. Any toxins make it to our soil, water as well. Although we have composting in some communities, not all of them do. That waste makes it to landfills in Colorado, including the Tower landfill. Toxic gas emissions that landfills produce impact that has in our community because my parents live in Tower landfill. They are approaching their senior years, and as a result, becoming even more vulnerable to toxic spills to their home. My dad drives on the road every time he goes to work. What concerns me is he already has many other health issues he's dealing with. Because of this, landfill road making personal to me. I want to ensure that my parents are around for as long as possible. For this, I ask for your help in protecting our environment, parents' health, and our community by adopting stronger methane mitigation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of what you were saying was cutting in and out, and so many of us were having a hard time understanding you, but I think we got your comments, and so I appreciate that. Now we'll move on to Reina Soria.
Buenas tardes, estimados comisionados. Mi nombre es Reina Soria. Soy líder, madre, promotora y residente de Commerce City por casi 3 décadas consecutivas. Vivo a unas pocas millas de uno de los muchos vertederos existentes en Colorado y a 2 cuadras del arsenal, donde algunas décadas atrás también existió uno de ellos. Quiero hacer énfasis que la contaminación no conoce fronteras ni mucho menos de millas. Como sabemos, los vertederos emiten muchos tóxicos, como lo es el metano, que contribuye al ozono troposférico y causa la muerte de 1 millón de personas cada año. Por esta razón, les pido encarecidamente que adopten la regla más estricta de metano para proteger el aire y la salud de la comunidad. Otros tóxicos, como lo son el benceno, el sulfuro de hidrógeno, por solo nombrarles algunos, también contribuyen altamente a la contaminación. Podemos ver la gran diferencia que el reciclaje y compost hace, pues disminuye el volumen de la basura de una manera significativa cuando se toma acción en ello. Si invertimos en compost en Commerce City, que actualmente no existe, podemos desviar el 80% de comida que se desperdicia. Esto es importante porque las emisiones que vienen de estos vertederos nos afectan de 1000 maneras, en lo económico, en la salud, en la educación, nuestro aire, nuestra agua y nuestra tierra. También sabemos que actualmente somos un área geográfica sintiendo los impactos de la gentrificación, al igual que el centro de Denver, con la gran diferencia que Denver ya toma medidas, pues ya provee a sus residentes centros de residuos orgánicos, compost, reciclaje, filtros de agua, aire, etc. Se puede ver que el desvío y separación de estos desechos hace una gran diferencia a nuestro medio ambiente. El Estado tiene el poder de protegernos, estableciendo leyes más estrictas para mantener a Colorado limpio, seguro y digno. Todos merecemos vivir en comunidades dignas, prósperas y seguras, ya que al igual que la mayoría pagamos impuestos. Gracias por su atención. Atentamente, nuestra comunidad que vive y siente todos los efectos.
Thank you. Next is Guadalupe Villalobos.
Sí, buenas tardes, miembros de la comisión. Mi nombre es Guadalupe Villalobos. Soy madre de 5 estudiantes que se graduaron del Distrito 14 y también soy líder comunitaria y vecina afectada. Nuestra casa está cerca del vertedero. Vivimos en un parque de casas móviles junto a muchas otras familias, cerca de 800 en total. Mi familia y yo estamos profundamente preocupados por los impactos en nuestra salud debido a la exposición diaria a gases tóxicos como el benceno y el sulfuro de hidrógeno. Estos contaminantes amenazan el aire que respiramos, el agua que tomamos y la tierra que nos rodea. Todas las familias, sin importar nuestro código postal, merecemos aire limpio, agua segura y tierra sana. Tuve la oportunidad de tomar una clase con promotoras comunitarias donde aprendí a hacer compost con los residuos orgánicos. Me sorprendió lo agradable que es el olor del compost cuando se maneja correctamente. Sin embargo, cuando salgo a caminar por las tardes con mi perrita, es triste y desagradable ver la basura derramada en las banquetas y contenedores desbordados. Estoy convencida de que si hubiera más programas de compostaje cerca de nuestras comunidades, esto ayudaría a reducir la basura y a aprovechar mejor los residuos orgánicos. Hoy les pido que adopten una regulación más fuerte para controlar los desechos que emiten gases tóxicos como el metano y que asignen más recursos para comunidades como la mía. También les pido que se exija a los dueños de los parques de casas móviles que implementen estrategias educativas y apoyen programas de reciclaje. En este momento y en mucho tiempo eso no es una prioridad para ellos. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de compartir mi experiencia con ustedes.
Thank you. Elvia Chavez.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Elvia, vivo en Commerce City desde hace 6 años. Estoy muy interesada en saber si la Comisión de Control de Calidad del Aire, encargada en velar por la salud de las comunidades, ¿cómo es que están proporcionando información o cómo dan a conocer a estas regiones cuál es la capacidad de cada vertedero que hay en nuestros alrededores, los cuales estos también generan muchos gases tóxicos, como es el metano, sulfuro de hidrógeno y benceno, por mencionar algunos. De antemano sabemos que cada uno tiende a expandirse por el aire. Para mí es muy importante informarme cómo puedo apoyar, qué tipo de recomendaciones proveen ustedes para así tener más cuidado con los desechos orgánicos e inorgánicos. He tomado algunos talleres en los cuales he recibido mucha información sobre los vertederos. Hay algunos que están muy cercas, no muy retirados de la ciudad, pues ahora sé que hay mucha gente desinformada sobre este tema. Me siento emocionada cuando algunas personas de las que fuimos participantes en estos talleres compartimos lo que aprendimos y lo queremos poner en práctica poco a poco. Por ejemplo, clasificar el cartón, cuidando que no tenga cinta adhesiva, ya que este es un tipo de plástico que contiene acetato de células, la cual este tipo de químico provoca irritación en ojos, nariz y garganta, además de efectos más graves, como mareos, desmayos e incluso daños hepáticos y renal. También puede contribuir a la resequedad y agrietamiento de la piel. Estoy aquí con ustedes para hacer lo posible de que cualquier recurso o actividad que ustedes quieran dar a conocer en nuestras comunidades, todo sea para trabajar y tener un aire libre un aire libre de altos químicos de contaminación. Para concluir con este comentario, me gustaría saber dónde puedo encontrar más información en cómo es que se están tomando los acuerdos para la reglamentación. Es todo. Muchas gracias por su tiempo.
Thank you. Next, Cristina Ruiz.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la comisión.
Mi nombre es Cristina. Soy residente y promotora de una de las comunidades incorporadas en Commerce City. Al igual, pertenezco a un área donde recibo todo tipo de olores. Me encuentro ubicada cerca de un vertedero, el de la Tower, alrededor de 3 millas. 1 milla de las aguas recicladas y la industria Suncor. Lo cual, esto significa que al vivir cerca de un vertedero hay varios efectos negativos. Entre ellos se encuentran el de problemas respiratorios. Lo cual, mi familia está siendo acumulativa de todos estos químicos y tóxicos que están respirando día a día. Otra de mis preocupaciones de los vertederos es la contaminante, el metano, los desechos que se propagan de esos vertederos. Uno de los problemas que me ocasionan a mí en lo personal es estar rodeada de todos estos lugares, lo cual están afectando la salud de mis hijos. Pudiera tener una solución, que sería moverme de lugar o de estado, pero no, porque soy una de las personas que no tengo la sostenibilidad económica para lograr hacer estos cambios. Pero una de las buenas soluciones empezaría con ustedes, aprobando una fuerte regularización sobre el metano. Créanmelo, que no soy la única persona que está pasando por esta situación. La mayoría de nuestras comunidades tienen problemas médicos debido a toda esta acumulación de tóxicos. Lamentablemente, los más afectados son los niños y los adultos. Espero que ustedes como comisión tengan la claridad, tengan un buen plan para lograr hacer grandes cambios para nuestras comunidades desproporcionadas y sus alrededores. Hay que hacer un poco de conciencia con todos estos daños que han ocurrido por malas decisiones que se han estado tomando en el pasado. Ya es tiempo de pensar en un futuro limpio y sano. Gracias por escuchar mi testimonio.
Thank you. Maria Zubiate.
Buenas tardes, comisionados. Mi nombre es María Zubiate. He vivido cerca de Commerce City por más de 28 años. Durante todo este tiempo, una pregunta que nunca me ha dejado de rondar en mi mente es ¿a dónde va toda la basura que generamos? ¿Y qué impacto tiene en nosotros? Pocas veces pensamos en la cantidad de desechos que producimos. Según el Banco Mundial, cada persona genera alrededor de 1 libra de basura al día. Esto equivale a 14 toneladas a lo largo de una vida promedio de 70 años. Ahora multipliquemos eso por toda una comunidad, el resultado es alarmante. Pero más allá de las cifras, lo que realmente me preocupa son los efectos silenciosos pero peligrosos que tienen los vertederos sobre nuestra salud. Y peor aún, la falta de información que existe en nuestras comunidades sobre este tema. Gracias a la organización de Cultivando aprendí que los vertederos no solo son montañas de basura, son focos activos de contaminación. Emite químicos dañinos que nos enferman y generan gastos médicos que muchas veces no podemos cubrir y que también impactan nuestra salud emocional. El simple hecho de convivir con los olores fétidos, con la incertidumbre, con la sensación de abandono, nos afecta profundamente. A menudo no somos conscientes de lo que respiramos, ni del impacto acumulativo que es. Puede tener en nuestro cuerpo muy fuerte daños acumulativos. Sin saberlo, hemos acostumbrado a vivir cerca de estos lugares, así como si fuera algo normal, pero no lo es, la verdad. Estos gases contaminan nuestra madre tierra, que es el aire que respiramos, el agua que bebemos y el suelo donde crecen nuestros alimentos. Esto no es solo una amenaza física, sino también mental.
La realidad es que tenemos derecho a vivir en un ambiente sano, a estar informados y a ser parte de estas decisiones que afectan nuestra comunidad. La información es poder. Educar y compartir el conocimiento es una forma de cuidarnos, respetarnos y protegernos los unos a los otros. Mi esperanza es que este testimonio, comisionados, ayude a que se adopten leyes más estrictas sobre el metano y que despierte en cada persona que lo escuche una pregunta muy importante. ¿Qué estoy haciendo yo para proteger mi salud y la de mi comunidad? Porque si no lo hacemos nosotros, ¿quién lo hará? Y si no es ahora, ¿cuándo? Muchas gracias por escuchar.
Thank you. Okay, Will Tour. I don't know that you're here.
Hi, can you hear me?
You are here. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Will Tour. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado Energy Office, and thank you for the opportunity to submit a public comment. My comments will be related to recovered methane, which is referred to as renewable natural gas throughout this rulemaking. RNG, in the context of this rule, is landfill gas that is processed and upgraded into natural gas that meets pipeline quality for a gas utility and can be injected into the utility's gas delivery system. RNG and recovered methane credits are emerging opportunities in Colorado. As identified in the Colorado Greenhouse Gas Pollution Reduction Roadmap, the state has identified the capture of methane from waste for use in heat, electricity generation, or vehicle fuels as an important opportunity to reduce the state's GHG emissions. A successful market for RNG, or recovered methane credits, will require both off-takers and producers. We would emphasize that the rules should allow the opportunity for landfill operators to participate in the emerging RNG market to help ensure production and to support the viability of RNG opportunities. It's CO's understanding that parties are concerned with RNG production facilities' potential to show higher emissions than anticipated on carbon mapping tools. We would encourage the Commission to balance any potential increase related to RNG production with the beneficial capture of these emissions that can help establish an RNG market as a broader climate solution that will help reduce economy-wide emissions in Colorado. We are not advocating for the Commission to alter or weaken the division's proposed landfill emission standards, nor are we arguing that the rules should maximize the profitability of RNG. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's see. Ellie Garland.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Ellie Garland, and I'm a senior associate at the Rocky Mountain Institute, an independent, nonpartisan nonprofit working to accelerate the clean energy transition and cut methane pollution. I appreciate the chance to speak today in support of Regulation Number 31. As you know, methane is a potent greenhouse gas, and landfills are a major source. Here in Colorado, landfill methane emissions have the same annual climate warming impacts as driving 1 million gas-powered cars. And that's just an estimate. Recent remote sensing surveys have identified large, persistent leaks at landfills across the country, showing methane emissions are often underestimated and can be better controlled. And when methane is released, so are multiple hazardous air pollutants, including toxic forever chemicals and known carcinogens like benzene and vinyl chloride. Landfill gas also contributes to regional ozone pollution, which is of particular concern given parts of the Front Range are in severe ozone non-attainment. This is why we need Regulation 31, not just to advance state climate targets, but also to improve air quality and protect public health, especially for communities near landfills that bear the brunt of this pollution, as described in those more than 150 written comments and from speakers today. So while federal regulations are clearly falling short, Colorado has the opportunity to lead. We support the division's proposed measures, especially around early gas collection, more efficient destruction devices, better cover materials, and remote monitoring. These are practical solutions that have been implemented in several other states and by many landfill operators. In fact, around 300 landfills nationwide are already covered by stronger state-level requirements. In Michigan, for example, landfills are required to put gas collection systems in every new cell, and they have some of the lowest tipping fees in the country. So these measures are cost effective. The benefits far outweigh any upfront costs, and we urge the Commission to swiftly adopt these vital protections and resist efforts to delay or weaken the standards. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Madison Hall. We will circle back. Evaristo Gomez.
Good evening, commissioners. It's great to see you all again. My name is Evaristo Gomez, and I am the Civic Engagement Manager for Mi Familia en Acción, Colorado. Over the last 9 months, I've spent a significant amount of time reaching out to different impacted communities with the intent of educating them on the impacts of methane pollution, harming their health and environment, as well as providing them an outlet to engage in the Regulation 31 rulemaking. Through texts, emails, door knocking, and community tabling, it became apparent the concept of methane as a pollutant was very difficult to grasp because it is an invisible gas. In the case of many Latino communities, people do not realize the impacts they are experiencing are normal. Many of us live in underserved communities that have been redlined or pushed into more polluted areas through gentrification, among many other factors. Though there were some real challenges engaging the community, which I had been called an idiot in more than one colorful way in both English and Spanish, many folks that I talked to truly wanted to learn more and advocate for stronger rules on methane pollution coming from landfills. It is imperative that the AQCC enact viable solutions, which are available today to address our landfill challenges. The proposed Regulation 31 includes several important provisions that we support at Mi Familia en Acción, such as earlier gas collection, strong coverage standards, phasing out of open flares, and the use of latest technologies and methane monitoring. These are feasible, cost-effective steps that will cut climate pollution and bring real relief to communities across Colorado. Not to mention, plenty of landfills across the country are already implementing many of these techniques. I urge the AQCC to swiftly finalize a protective and strong Regulation 31. Please do not weaken or delay these important protections that will only make our air, climate, and health suffer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Barbara Wilson. Okay, we'll circle back for Barbara Wilson. Then Lori Anderson.
Thank you. My name is Lori Anderson. I am a Colorado field organizer with Moms Clean Air Force. I'm speaking today in strong support of the state's proposed Regulation 31 to control methane pollution from Colorado's landfills. While the state has made progress in regulating methane from oil and gas, landfills remain a significant and addressable source. The state's own Greenhouse Gas Pollution Reduction Roadmap 2.0 identifies landfill methane as a critical near-term climate priority. The good news is landfill methane is one of the most solvable contributors to the climate crisis, and Reg 31 is a vital step. We have the technology, we have the data, and we have a responsibility to act. I live near the Front Range landfill, which reported over 388,000 metric tons of estimated methane emissions. Yet surface emissions monitoring protocols only cover about 3/4 of the waste area. Satellite data from Carbon Mapper has already detected 6 major methane plumes at this site. This is not theoretical, it's happening now, and it's happening in your homes, schools, and playgrounds. Advancements in monitoring technologies can better show the full scope of landfill emissions. These landfills don't just emit methane, they release volatile organic compounds and other hazardous pollutants that contribute to poor air quality and ozone pollution. Children are especially vulnerable to air pollution since their lungs are still developing and they breathe air more rapidly. Exposure to pollutants like ozone can lead to long-term health effects, including asthma and reduced lung function. Reducing methane pollution at landfills will also reduce ozone concentrations and improve air quality. Thousands of Colorado children attend schools within just a few miles of actively leaking landfills. As parents, we are concerned about safety, mental health, and academic pressures as our kids return to school. What is not top of mind for many parents is the fact that thousands of Colorado children are attending schools just miles from landfills that are actively leaking methane and toxic air pollutants. Reducing organic waste disposal is essential, but once waste reaches the landfill, we need strong, enforceable rules to protect our communities. Colorado has led the nation in regulating methane from oil and gas. Now we must lead again with landfills. I urge the Commission to adopt a strong and protective Regulation 31 without delay. Thank you for your time and your commitment to clean air and climate action.
Thank you. Jeff Kendall?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. I'm Jeff Kendall, the CEO and member of the family that owns Bruin Waste. Bruin Waste Management appreciates the opportunity to comment on the proposed Regulation 31. We're a family-owned waste company that has operated in Western Colorado for decades. We provide trash collection and disposal, recycling, and compost collection services to the counties of Garfield, Mesa, Delta, Montrose, Ouray, San Miguel, Montezuma, and Arcoleta, all of the rural areas of Western Colorado. We're also actively partnering to build a brand new MRF, a recycling plant with the City of Grand Junction to help drive increased recycling rates and advance the circular economy. We're communicating through public comment because we were denied party status when we applied, originally missing the deadline because we weren't aware of it, because we are a small business and we don't have a large team of engineers and government affairs folks to keep up with all the changes happening in Colorado right now. We're deeply concerned that Regulation 31 as currently drafted will do more harm than good to small business and to rural Colorado. It represents a costly, broad approach to methane reduction that is inevitably going to drive up costs for Colorado residents, especially in rural communities, and potentially without delivering meaningful benefit. We urge the Commission to pause and reconsider key portions of the rule, particularly as they apply to rural landfills. At a minimum, the small private landfills should be treated the same as small public landfills, because in many cases, we compete both with municipally owned landfills and hauling companies, and exempting them continues to advantage them over the private sector. And why are their landfills any different than ours? And why should small business be treated any different than county owned? There's still major portions of the rule that lack strong technical foundation because there was not appropriate levels of stakeholder engagement until late in the game, when there was very little time. The thresholds, timelines, and system requirements may be appropriate for large urban landfills, but they don't scale sensibly to rural operations, where geography, volume, and infrastructure realities are fundamentally different. I urge you to hear us, a representative of a family-owned small business community, and hear the other constituents that are suggesting to slow down and attack emission reductions from a place that doesn't just put undue burden on rural Colorado. We're all in favor of cleaner air, but the juice needs to be worth the squeeze.
Thank you. Corey Gaines?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm calling from a very dumb flip phone. My name is Corey Gaines. I'm a resident of Logan County, Colorado, and I live in a rural area. Lest you guys think that the idea that rates go up with government regulation is theoretical, I want to tell you about how sewer changes caused my city utility bills to jump by $50. Now, that was nearly double, and that was due to changes in requirements for wastewater treatment. Changes in requirements for landfills will be no different, and my bill will go up. I'm a father, and I'm concerned about the world I leave to my daughter, but as I tell my students in my classes, and as I tell my daughter, there's no choice without consequence. And we have to live in the here and now as well. And so that $50 for extra regulation might make everybody feel better, but it's $50 taken away from my family, $50 less I have to spend on my daughter who's living in the here and now. I urge you to reconsider how this will affect smaller rural communities such as mine, because it will affect us differently than it does the large urban centers. And there's one last thing I'd like to leave you with. If I understood correctly, and perhaps I missed something, this is an 8-person appointed unelected board. And if I recall correctly, there are 6 people there out of the 8 right now making this decision. none of whom are elected, none of whom I believe has ever been to Logan County that I've seen for any public events, none of whom are accountable to the people via a vote. I can't fire a single one of you if I don't like your decisions. This is not how our government ought to be run. This is not how such weighty decisions as you're proposing here, and also with regard to things like intruding into people's lives on lawnmowers and etc. I wonder if our founders had envisioned a situation like this. 6 people intruding this far into the market and into the lives of everyday citizens. I urge you to reconsider your rule and also to reconsider your role in our state's government. Thank you.
Thank you. Finn Jackson. Finn Jackson. Let's see. Carmen Diaz-Salas. Norlis Alcantara. John Clark. John Clark.
Hello, commissioners. Had to unmute myself there. Thank you for hearing from our comments today. My name is John Clark. I work for Triumvirate Environmental, and we primarily help waste generators maintain their environmental compliance programs. It's my job to advise waste generators on compliance and find disposal solutions, many of which can be very large projects, both in Colorado and nationally. Now, we as a company pride ourselves on finding collaborative and sustainable solutions and aiding in the implementation of those solutions for our clients. However, what I'd request is guidance connecting to all phases of the waste generation process instead of just at the end. So my ask is to please collaborate with the solid waste division and also local businesses that are responsible and do generate waste with a comprehensive implementation program so that methane emission can be successfully mitigated with input from all of the stakeholders across the entire generation spectrum. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Matt Soper. Shauna Greger.
Hi, thank you, commissioners, for your time and for the work that you do in Colorado. My name is Shauna Greger. I'm the director of Western Colorado Contractors Association. And our members over 27 counties build roads, schools, homes, and infrastructure that keep the state moving. I'm here today because Regulation 31 doesn't just add costs on the paper, it threatens Colorado's ability to build, grow, and provide affordable housing for our families. Especially in the Western Colorado rural areas. Regulation 31 will drive up the tipping fees and hauling costs for every project that we are doing. Homes, roads, schools will all become more expensive and harder to deliver on time for our contractors. If landfills close, especially in the rural areas, debris will have to be hauled longer distances, which is difficult for rural Colorado as it is. That means higher fuel costs, more delays, and more strain on the contractors that are already stretched thin. At a time when Colorado faces a housing crisis, this rule makes homes even less affordable for working families. With the impacts that are on hauling, contractors rely on haulers to keep job sites safe and efficient. Many of these haulers are local small businesses that are already on thin margins. Regulation 31 will push them back past their limits, forcing higher costs onto the families, local governments, and the businesses. Our rural municipalities, some of them that don't even make $500,000 a year, cannot absorb the cost of these changes proposed. This will go on to our families, our business owners, everyone that's affected in that community. The cost will be passed on to those users. With fewer affordable landfill options, Colorado will see more illegal dumping in the ditches, back roads, and open lands, which there's plenty of in Western Colorado. And longer truck routes mean even more emissions and more damages to our roads that we're trying to protect, which is the opposite of what the rule is supposed to achieve. We want clean air, but Regulation 31 is not the answer. It pushes small businesses, drives up costs per families, and creates new environmental problems instead of solving them. I urge you to reject the rule and come back with a solution that is practical, inclusive, and truly workable for Colorado's economy and communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Lola Spradley.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I am the Huerfano County Economic Development President, former Speaker of the House, a former board member of the Spanish Peaks Regional Hospital and Regional Health Center and treasurer of that board, a current board member of the Urban Renewal Authority in Walsenburg. Huerfano County is one of the poorest counties in the state and doesn't have a landfill, so any increase in costs of transport and carbon impact are important to all of us. And this regulation could increase those costs significantly. Costs are important, and increases to our services negatively impact the poorest the most. If waste costs go up to cover the costs of this in rural Colorado, it will negatively impact all of our citizens, and the poorest will be disproportionately impacted. Unfunded mandates on these expenses and waste will be bypassed to all citizens. There is no free lunch here. While we may be thinking we're improving rural Colorado, we are actually going to be hurting the economy and hurting the viability and hurting all the people in the county. Increased costs make it harder to attract jobs and improve our economy. It will also increase illegal dumping, which has also been an issue and continues to be an issue as we try to improve our appearance and attract businesses to our economy. These increased costs disproportionately impact rural Colorado. Please exempt rural Colorado from these regulations, as we are not Commerce City. We are not some of the other places. Our impacts are different. Another hit will be on rural hospitals that have significant waste, and the cost for that transport and how to deal with all of that waste in hospitals that are already struggling is not helpful to their viability. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for the opportunity, and I ask you to, in closing, to please exempt rural Colorado from these rules, because this is an unfunded mandate that we simply cannot afford at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Kent Zook. Okay, we'll circle back. Pamela Jackson. Nina Anderson. I'll circle back. Alan Mates.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, my name is Alan Mays. I'm from rural Montezuma County, southwest corner of Colorado. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. I want to make some statements regarding CDPHE Rule 31, a rule to control landfill methane emissions. CDPHE is attempting to put the burden on the county through higher Colorado government overreach. Methane emissions must have been detected somewhere in Colorado landfills. Where is the evidence that our landfill has the emissions even close to the threshold level of 34? I don't believe there is any. Yet CDPHE is proposing our county landfill to install costly equipment, a cost that would be transferred to the customers. A cost could be too much for the customers. That could lead to landfill closure. This closure could lead to illegal dumping in remote rural areas of our county. I have been a lifelong steward of the land. I am a fourth generation farmer rancher here. I was part of the first Earth Day in 1970 high school. I have witnessed here in Montezuma County the transition to our well-used landfill and the benefits to the county. The landfill was well placed, located here in the county. We do not need to go backwards due to this costly government overreach. Our landfill is being operated professionally. I hope the commission will review this rule and reevaluate due to harm to the county like Montezuma County. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Scott Lukacs.
Hello. Good evening, everybody and commissioners. My name is Scott Lukacs. I'm with Apex Waste Solutions. Really appreciate the opportunity to comment on Reg 31. We, like Bruin, are also a locally privately owned company. We operate in 8 different counties across the state, many of which are located in rural communities and counties. We provide waste and recycling collection at all of those locations. At 2 of the locations in Routt County and Fremont, we operate a landfill. We're also in the process of developing a new recycling facility in Routt County and also operate compost facilities. One of our core values, like many on the call today, is environmental stewardship. We're committed to sustainable solutions in every community we're in. And we're also committed to reducing greenhouse gases, but we believe that there are better, more affordable ways, especially for small landfills that are load generators, to deal with this issue. In addition, there's been really little engagement with the rural communities and us as business owners that will be greatly affected by Reg 31. I want to express our concern with the proposed regulation and the serious impact it will have not only on Routt and Fremont County, but all rural communities across Colorado. As part of my comment, I also will be submitting 66 letters that were collected in a very short period of time with concerned business owners, citizens, and local representatives that are opposed to the current form of the bill. As a small private municipal landfills operate on a modest budget, and we serve critical infrastructure for residents and businesses that we serve. As Bruin, Logan, Chaffee County, Lola, Allen, and many others on today's calls have commented, it's going to cost millions of dollars to upgrade this and significant resource to continue with the annual operating costs of these systems that we don't even know if can support the system. Again, there's better solutions, and we're willing to explore it. The cost inevitably will be passed along, raising disposal rates and increasing costs of living in rural communities where families and small businesses are already struggling with affordability. Equally troubling, the regulation doesn't reflect the realities of small landfills in rural communities that generate so little out there. So if implemented in its current form, the regulation risks forcing small landfills to close, which would lead communities with longer travel distance to waste disposal, higher truck emissions, and increased risk of legal dumping. The outcome will not only harm the community, but health, safety, environmental stewardship within that community. You know, we strongly urge the commission to delay or pause or rethink as it relates to the smaller rural landfills, and that will cripple the infrastructure. We're open to the conversation, and we hope there's a deeper conversation around this topic. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Barbara Wilson.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you are. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Getting this to unmute was just insane. I apologize. I should have been here before. Barbara Wilson, lifelong rural Colorado resident. I've raised 3 kids here. I have a grandchild. The environment is very important to me. But being in such a rural community, like everybody before, well, not everybody. The other rurals before me have said, this is such an economic impact on us that this Regulation 31 will close down our landfill. And right now, our air is clean. Our landfill is doing what it is supposed to, and our air is clean. But as soon as they have to raise, and might I add that our county has the highest tipping rates in the entire state. We are at $100 or $100 a ton. No other county has that. And so when it goes up higher, they're not going to go to the landfill. They're going to start dumping things in our ditches and along the roads and in medians. And our air will then significantly decrease horribly. And, you know, when you consider the winds, it's all going to blow somewhere. And methane gas is only going to increase substantially. This is not a regulation that small communities can afford to handle.
All right, thank you. Circling back, I'm going to start with Carmen Salas. I see a note in the chat about you wanting to speak, and you're here. Carmen Salas.
Buenas tardes.
There you are.
Mi nombre es Carmen Salas y vivo cerca de Commerce City desde hace 20 años. Y por todo este tiempo no me había dado cuenta que nuestra comunidad en esta área y sus alrededores tenemos altos riesgos de tener graves problemas de salud debido a los vertederos que hay en nuestro estado. El más cercano a mi hogar está ubicado en la Tower Road en Commerce City, cerca de donde vivo. Me preocupa mi salud y la de mi familia. Gracias a una charla que recibí en Cultivando, me pude dar cuenta cómo estos vertederos contaminan el medio ambiente por medio de unos respiradores que emiten gases tóxicos como el metano y muchos más, que son dañinos para nuestra salud. Expreso mi preocupación para pedir mejorar el medio ambiente con educación de reciclaje y opción para separar la basura. Gracias a Cultivando por informarnos de lo importante que es y cómo cada uno de nosotros podemos mejorar nuestro ambiente y tener mejor calidad de vida. Gracias.
Thank you. Let's circle back. Can we get to the top of the list? Thank you. So we'll start with Ashley Stoltzman. Okay. Jean Glover. Jordan Giaconia. Okay. Madison Hall. Ben Jackson. Noralis Alcantara.
Sí, buenos días. Voy a dar este testimonio de parte de Norilis Alcantara, que desafortunadamente no pudo asistir el día de hoy. Entonces, aquí va. Hola, mi nombre es Norilis Alcantara, vivo en la zona de Brighton. En cuanto a la oportunidad que he conocido referente a los vertederos, el más cercano a mí, la zona de vivienda, es el que se encuentra en la Tower Road en Commerce City. Tomo en consideración y referencia dicho vertedero debido a los gases que generan la basura y esto trae como consecuencia lo que afecta a la salud. He tenido la oportunidad de orientarme y tomar conciencia de lo que afecta a la basura y ya sé que si no tomamos en cuenta qué podemos hacer, una campaña profunda de reciclaje y compostaje en donde se pueda concientizar y sensibilizar a cada ser humano para el cuidado de nuestra comunidad en común y nuestro propio cuidado como individuos de la sociedad. Es de gran importancia que todos en la sociedad podamos estar informados de las diferentes formas que se puede hacer un cambio, como el reciclaje, el compostaje, y de esta manera niños, jóvenes, adultos y ancianos podemos sentirnos responsables de la gran labor que podemos hacer en nuestro mundo. Gracias.
Thank you. Matt Soper. Matt Soper. Okay. Kent Zook. Pamela Jackson. Nina Anderson.
Good evening, commissioners. And thank you for your time and for your service to Colorado. My name is Nina Anderson, and I am a small business owner in Grand Junction and Montrose, and I am a fourth generation Colorado native. I tell you this so you understand that Western Colorado is my home. I'm here to speak this evening against Regulation 31 because I feel that it is unfairly burdensome against rural communities like mine. This rule will drive up costs, making rural life even more expensive. When in Mesa County alone, the annual median wage is $66,000 compared to the state median of $92,000. Other rural areas typically earn even less. Our communities can least afford expensive initiatives that don't reflect our realities. Regulation 31 is based on flawed studies that don't account for Colorado's unique climate, our landfill sizes, or our waste composition. It applies a one-size-fits-all approach to a problem where rural landfills contribute only a tiny fraction of methane emissions, just part of the 1.7% of the entire waste sectors. If landfills in rural Colorado closes because of fewer affordable options, I, like many others on the call this evening, feel that illegal dumping, illegal burning will continue to rise in our counties in Mesa County, greater than 70% public lands. This only serves to hurt the very environment we're trying to protect. All of us on this call want to keep Colorado clean and beautiful, but I fear that this regulation is not the answer. I respectfully request that you reject Regulation 31 and work with each community to find a solution that truly benefits each community, our state, our economy, and our people. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Jeffrey Knight. Jeffrey Knight. Okay. I guess that's everyone on the list. Jeremy, how late are we supposed to go this evening?
We have until 7:30 on the agenda. So we're pretty close right now.
Okay. So
And Jeffrey Knight was the one individual asking earlier.
Okay. So I will see if there's anyone else who wants to speak, who hasn't had an opportunity to speak and who did not sign up. We can take a couple of people if you want to talk.
I'm here.
Oh, there's Jeffrey Knight.
Yeah, I got disconnected, but I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. I'm Jeffrey Knight, representing the Hispanic Contractors of Colorado. Dear commissioners, contractors across Colorado deeply care about protecting our environment. We build the infrastructure that keeps the state running. We raise our families here and invest back in our communities. Clean air matters to us, but Regulation 31 is not the right solution. Businesses are already facing skyrocketed costs for fuel, materials, labor, and compliance. This rule would lay on millions in new expenses for landfills that will cascade into every project, every job site, every household. These costs don't stay isolated. They raise the price of housing, school, roads, and basic services. At the time when Colorado's economy is already under pressure, Regulation 31 adds strain without delivering meaningful environmental progress. which makes this even more troubling, is the government carve out of county-run landfills, creating special exemptions for government operations while forcing private operators and small business to shoulder the burden is not equitable and does not promote a healthy business climate in Colorado. It tilts the playing field against private enterprise, especially small businesses that cannot and should not absorb these costs. Any equitable policy must treat all operators fairly without picking winners and losers. Companies in the construction industry are not opposed to environmental solutions, but rules of this magnitude must be built through robust and intentional stakeholder involvement, with input from the contractors, small businesses, and rural communities who bear the greatest cost. Without that, policies risk looking good on paper, but failing in practice. Colorado needs environmental policy that are both responsible, equitable, and protect clean air while ensuring that small businesses and communities are not left behind. We urge you to reject Regulation 31. It is its current form, and work collaboratively on a path that strengthens both Colorado's environment and its economy. The Hispanic Contractors of Colorado, AQCC, is a 35-year-old organization that supports and represents and advocates for small business, minority women, veteran-owned businesses in this built environment. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, one more call for anyone who would like to spend some time speaking to us tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Craig Fuller. I'm going to speak really briefly because we are actually part of the coalition that has been granted time in tomorrow's hearing. I'm one of the commissioners here in Delta, Colorado. We are, again, opposed to this regulation for all the reasons that you've heard from the other rural areas, the costs and the illegal dumping that is going to inevitably occur as we tip our tipping fees go sky high. The extra distance incurred to haul trash. This doesn't make any sense to us to increase emissions into the atmosphere by extended drive times to take our trash somewhere else. But anyways, that's all I've really got to say. I've been listening into as many of these sessions as I could back in early February. So I urge you to, as one of the callers already said this afternoon, to find a regulation that works for each county and not to make it a cookie cutter style of a regulation. That's the only one that's going to work for us, to be quite honest. So I appreciate your time and I look forward to the coalition's response tomorrow. And in the meantime, everyone sleep well and drive home safe.
Thank you. All right. I think this is ending our public comment period for this evening. I want to express my appreciation for everyone who's taken the time tonight to join us. I know this is a busy time for everyone, but to spend your evening with us is very important. We very much appreciate it. We do listen to what you're saying. We do take what you're saying very seriously. It's important to us that we do that and that we get things right. So I just want to appreciate everyone taking the time to share their thoughts with us tonight. Any other commissioners wish to say anything?
I really appreciate the balance of perspectives tonight in public comment.
All right. Well, thank you. I will pass the gavel back to Commissioner Slutsky.
Thank you, Commissioner Rudolph, and I would echo Commissioner Thomas's comments on the great testimony and the very testimony. We use this in our hearings. If you listen, you'll hear us talk about y'all as we deliberate, which will be on Friday. But we will be back tomorrow morning in a hybrid meeting. Your links for this meeting will work for tomorrow's, or you're welcome to join us at the CDPHE in Cherry Creek. So we'll adjourn this meeting and we will see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Whoops. Jeremy, do you have something?
I was gonna just ask a question for the commissioners very quickly. On Friday morning, would you all be opposed to moving agenda items 5 through 8 to the top of that Friday morning session? That way, we don't have to do it after the deliberations when everyone's going to be sick of sitting in the room together.
Works for me.
All right, thank you all.
Okay, well, once again, we are adjourned. Thank you.